Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz. I am joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we are going over all of the Week 3 games that are done so far, because there's 2 on Monday Night Football still to come. We just watched the Chiefs beat the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs just won 22-17. DK,
yeah,
where are you on the Chiefs get all the calls discourse?
Well, that would have been pretty egregious because you're talking about the Kyle Pitts pass interference in the end zone, I presume.
Yeah, that one
was tough.
Has been called all day as a flag on the defense.
That was a clear foul, but then on the next drive, the Chiefs had 2 ticky-tack calls go against them, so I felt like it kind of evened out. And then the Falcons got another chance, and they didn't capitalize. So I feel like everything is fine. We don't have to worry about that too much.
Bill Barnwell at ESPN did this massive thread responding to all the Bengals fans who were upset claiming that Mahomes got all these calls.
Yeah.
And he went and did all the research and looked back at all of the penalties that have negated plays for Mahomes, helped Mahomes and Burrow and all this stuff. And he found out that Burrow actually gets more calls than Mahomes.
Be careful what you wish for in terms of like people
fact checking.
Yeah, exactly. Don't fact check me. That's like my caveat with everything I say, pretty much. Don't fact check that.
So yeah, Chiefs won 22-17. There were a lot of parts of this game that were interesting. To tell you the truth, I don't know what you guys want to talk about of this. I kind of can't stop thinking that Carson Steele's entire family was at Carson Steele's sister's wedding, and they were watching this game on like 8 giant television screens at his sister's wedding. It's kind of all I could think about.
Do you think they thought he wasn't going to make an NFL team, which is why they planned the wedding in the fall?
This is what
That's
I was
harsh.
thinking. They planned it on a Sunday. It's his sister. They definitely thought he would not make an NFL
Maybe
team.
just just be safe. Play it safe. Do it on a Saturday.
Dude, I feel like fall weddings are already like a little contentious because people like watching football. Her brother plays football and they scheduled it on a Sunday.
He's the starter.
He's starting the game. They clearly thought this would never happen.
Yeah. My brother got married on game 4 of the finals against the Celtics, and that turned out to be great. So sometimes it's awesome. And it was tonight maybe for them. I don't know.
Good story, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, so Carson Steele, yeah. So the Chiefs won. I do think the Chiefs just have the Patriots horseshoe up their ass. Frankly, I think what a lot of people interpret as luck or whatever. I think, frankly, teams really want to beat the fucking Chiefs, and teams get really nervous. I think coaches get nervous. I think everyone gets a little tight pucker factor when you're like, oh my God, we really could do it. And then everyone, it's just kind of like going against Brady and the Patriots, where when you tell yourself all week, we're going to do it. And then you go in and you go hard. And then you're actually winning the game or have a chance to win at the end. And just people get a little tight. And the Patriots were there before, and Brady had been there before. And I just think that's the Chiefs. Like, they're really, like, they're able to beat people with their A game and their B game and their B- game.
It helps that they're always on primetime. Like, it feels like the Chiefs, like their home court is just Sunday Night Football. And then every week is like a new team coming to visit them on primetime. They probably have twice the amount of primetime games as any other team. So they're just, and plus all the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So they're just like 10 times more comfortable under the spotlight as all these other teams.
Yeah. DK, do you think I'm reading too much into it? Because I look at like the Falcons and Zach Robinson, who's the offensive coordinator for Atlanta. And I think sometimes like we forget these people are just people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like Zach, they call it was 4th and inches and they break my cardinal rule. You start going sideways like that. They run wide zone out, so Bijan Robinson is in the backfield with Tyler Algier and like the 2 running backs are there. And then Tyler Algier basically becomes the lead blocker for Bijan Robinson, which sounds like such a sick idea when you're playing Madden or College Football 25. Like, oh, I'll make my fullback a running back, and then I'll have 2. But then guess what? Tyler Algier should have blocked Nick Bolton on that last play, and he just ran right by him because Tyler Algier isn't trained to look for a fucking linebacker on 4th and inches. And so then they lost 3 yards. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe they should have called a play where your fullback was a fucking fullback. But
yeah. I don't know. I don't think you're overthinking it. I do think there is something to like the mystique. They're 2 times back-to-back champions. Like, they have this mental edge on everybody else, and especially late in games, just because Mahomes has done it so many times. It's like, Heifetz, I've mentioned this to you in the past, like the Alexander the Great thing. He had like this aura among his soldiers where they literally didn't think he could be killed. He was like a god to them, and that like changes the strategy in a battle and things like that. And I think like Mahomes has that sort of mystique or whatever. And I think that definitely helps in the ends of games. They just have the confidence that they're going to come through. But at the same time, it's like you can look at that 4th down play. You can look at a couple of the throws late in the game where it didn't really feel like Cousins was able to drive the ball as much as he should have, or he kind of like just flicked it up instead of driving it into his receiver. There's a couple, like there's probably 5 or 6 plays down the stretch where you could have pointed to, like, if they would have made that play, they would have won.
What made you think that? Was it the one where he bounced the ball to Drake London on the 4th down?
Yeah. So it's like, I don't
Kirk's
know.
arm has no juice. He has no zip on the ball. He's just throwing up ducks. And also, why is their entire offense just throwing screen passes to Darnell Mooney?
I know, that was like,
what are we doing here? They have Bijan Robinson, Drake
Yeah.
London, and Kyle Pitts, and they're obsessed with getting the ball to Darnell Mooney, who weighs like a $180.
I actually think the reason is because like the screens happen every time you can visibly see Kirk not have enough zip on the ball. And I think that they do the screens because when they see he doesn't have zip on the ball and they're like, damn, I bet they know we're going to do a screen. Well, I bet they won't think we're going to throw it to Darnell Mooney.
And then it gets negative 1 yards.
I think that's the process. They do the screen. They always go back to the screen when he doesn't have enough juice on the ball. Yeah, it's not ideal. Also, how weird was it that stat they showed, Craig, that Justin Simmons has intercepted Mahomes in 4 straight games?
4 straight games, 6 times in his career. This guy's got his number a little
weird.
They said the 6 picks is the most any active player has against an active player. The idea that would be against Mahomes is kind of insane instead of like Will Levis.
Yeah, Collinsworth made a great point at why Justin Simmons is so good at it. He just like, and all DBs have to do this, but like you pretend the guy's open while giving yourself just enough space to like jump back and cover him when the ball is thrown. And on that pick, he kind of disguised it where he made it seem as though, I forget, the receiver on the Chiefs was open in the end zone. Justin Simmons was kind of hiding, popped up, stole the ball. Nice play. If only the entire Falcons could do that. They need 11 Justin Simmons, I guess.
Build the entire defense out of that play.
Yeah.
This reminds me, like last week at some point, Ed Reed, former Ravens Ed Reed, did an interview where he said that Mahomes has weaknesses that are easy to figure out.
Oh,
I've been thinking about that.
I would say that the second I retired as well.
Yeah.
Dude,
sure.
now if anyone in the world could tweet that, and I'm just like, I bet that's real. It's Ed Reed.
Give me a break.
Dude, Ed Reed, fuck no, dude. Ed Reed's the only guy who can
The best
say
part
that
about Ed Reed saying
you
that
think
is we'll
Mahomes
never
has
know.
easy tells?
No, I think to Ed Reed they're easy. I think that means that to everyone but 5 people in the world they wouldn't be able to pull it off.
Somebody should hire Ed Reed then.
Dude, Bill Belichick's thing on like how Ed Reed was the smartest player he ever coached against because him and Brady were watching the clip of how he fucked with Peyton Manning by like he played a play wrong to cover a player and then he just like turned blind and sprinted across like from numbers to the other set of numbers to pick. Anyway, Ed Reed's the man. I haven't told you guys about this yet, but I want, before we leave this game, this Chiefs Falcons game, I want to just mention, so the Falcons owner, Art Blank, inducted himself into the Falcons Ring of Honor tonight. And so I want to let you guys know, I will be inducting myself into the Ringer Fantasy Football Ring of Honor.
The Ringer of Honor?
The Ringer of Honor. Yeah. I'm
Nice.
going to be inducting myself tonight on this show. I just want
Congratulations.
to give you guys a heads up. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm super happy for you.
This is like the whole rich people hire themselves to do stuff thing. I just,
Ryan Reynolds has a production company, like a marketing
has
firm.
his own ad agency to make ads for his own companies.
Nice.
Yeah.
We got
Taylor Sheridan making you film Yellowstone on his ranch. Yeah.
Yeah. Art Blank. It's like, oh, that's so weird how like Home Depot built the stadium. That's crazy. I don't think they actually did, but I bet they did. Yeah, that's good. I also think they inducted Matt Ryan tonight. They didn't really mention that though.
Yeah.
Just Art Blank.
Good for Matt.
Anyway. All right. Yeah. So congratulations to me. Okay. Let's get into a bunch of other stuff that happened. Let's go through a bunch of categories. DK.
Yo.
Who won week 1?
For me, Matt LaFleur, I think. The way that he has been able to manipulate the offense with basically zero time to prepare with Malik Willis has been nothing short of incredible. I've just been really, really impressed with him.
I think all the hot coaches won, to be totally honest with you. I think Matt LaFleur is a hot coach. Kevin O'Connell's a hot coach. I think the hot coaches,
like hot figuratively and literally,
like Hansel's so hot right now, but also they're hot and they're smart. And frankly, there's no ceiling on what you can do when someone's hot and smart.
Yeah,
Craig's kind of hot and smart. His career's going great.
It really is the double whammy. You don't see it often, It's why if billionaires were hot, they probably wouldn't become billionaires. You know what I mean? It's rare that you find both. Do you count Dave Canales as hot and smart? Who won?
I think Dave Canales is hot.
There you go.
We'll see if he's smart.
Dave Canales is hot in the way that, you know, those guys on like TikTok, and it's just like they wake up, cold plunge, then they journal, then they have wheatgrass, and their entire day is planned like to a T.
And then day two starts at 10 a.m.
Yeah, they look good, but it's like too good, actually. Like it's a little robotic. That's how Canales looks. His shirts are so tight. He looks like kind of like a Ken doll a little bit.
You want your coaches to be a little bit like slobby or sloppy?
Yeah, I don't want my coach to put too much effort into their looks before the game.
Well, I thought that I used to think that, but you know, Matt LaFleur's eyebrows probably get an hour of work every day, and they're doing great. So like
Matt LaFleur has like an impeccably trimmed beard.
Yeah, he does.
It's true. Yeah. But then I look at Kevin O'Connell for the Vikings, and so the Vikings beat the Texans 34-7. The Vikings are 3-0. Sam Darnold is 3-0. Sam Darnold leads the NFL in touchdown passes, 8 touchdown passes in 3 games. I saw this from ESPN. Minnesota's has plus 55 margin of victory this season, which is the most through 3 games. The second most through 3 games in the history of the Vikings franchise. Only the 1975 Vikings had a better point differential through 3 games. And so I look at him just like the fact that Kevin O'Connell is doing this with Sam Darnold, Matt LaFleur for the Packers is doing this with Malik Willis. And I just feel like coaching, I think the biggest story of the season to date, and we can get more into these games specifically, but I really do think the biggest story of the season to date is what coaches are able to do with quarterbacks. If Green Bay, honestly, I think if you had anonymously polled a lot of offensive play callers and coaches in the NFL and then asked them who's the worst quarterback on a roster, I think a lot of them would have said Malik Willis. And the fact that Matt LaFleur just went 2-0 with Malik Willis, I don't know. It makes me think like really poorly of a lot of coaches, frankly. But I don't know. The ones that are hot and smart, you got to watch out.
Tossing Sean McVay. Also, I mean, he had Matt Stafford, but the rest of his team was like a JV squad in high school. No receivers, offensive line's decimated. The defense isn't very good. It's crazy that Matt LaFleur is 0-1 with Jordan Love, 2-0 with Malik Willis. Makes you think.
I know, right? Like we were literally questioning like the wisdom of the fact that the Packers didn't have a quote unquote starter on their roster because and that was based on the history of what Malik Willis had done in his career. Like nothing that he had done had looked even remotely like this guy is going to win us a game. And the idea with your backup quarterback is like, let's survive until our starter gets back. And I thought that Malik Willis has looked extremely comfortable. Like it's actually wild how good he's been. He's even been good on third downs. I was looking at this earlier today. On third downs over the last 2 weeks, Malik Willis is 12 of 17, 190 yards, a touchdown, 11 yards per attempt, just 1 sack. He's scrambled 5 times for 55 yards. He has a 56% success rate, which is second best among all quarterbacks in that stretch on third downs. His EPA per dropback on third downs is best in the NFL. Just today, he had a 30-yard completion on a 3rd and 6 to Christian Watson. He had an 8-yard scramble on 3rd and 7. He had an 18-yard pass to Romeo Doubs on 3rd and 14 and a 37-yarder to Christian Watson on 3rd and 18. So he converted a 3rd and 14 and a 3rd and 18 with like bombs down the field. Like this guy is playing out of his mind. I don't know what's happening. I don't know how they're doing this, but it's been truly incredible. And again, I want to reiterate, Matt LaFleur is now 58-28 in 6 seasons. That's behind only Jim Harbaugh among active coaches in winning percentage. We need to be talking about this guy as like Sean McVay, not like one of his proteges or whatever. Like he has been incredible in the 6 years. Can't win the big one. 6 years.
Can't win the big one. But I guess you're right. Like we anoint Shanahan as this, all-knowing play caller. We don't put Matt LaFleur in that category. Neither of them have Super Bowl rings.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you. Do you think? Craig, you texted this to us in the middle of the day, and I've been thinking about it all day. Do you think Matt LaFleur is just straight up actually a better coach at this point than Kyle Shanahan?
I feel like people are going to get so upset about that. Everybody is so certain that Shanahan is the number 1 play caller in the NFL. I think what's hard about it is the Niners are just simply more talented. Like their players are just way better. So it's hard to know what Shanahan is really capable of when they don't have all of this talent. I know they made a Super Bowl with Jimmy G, and that's certainly an accomplishment. But, Malik Willis, what McVay is doing every year with these teams, part of me thinks that these coaches like LaFleur and McVay, these masterminds, almost enjoy a little bit having like a undermanned squad because it allows
makes them feel
to be
alive.
Like, yeah, it's like, fuck you.
It's
I'll show you how creative I am.
Yeah.
It's like boring to have Mahomes, It's like, I want to win Malik Willis. Let me show you what I'm really capable of.
Yeah, it's the I can fix him.
Yeah,
they
totally.
fucking fix him.
Right.
No, but so the Rams. I mean, oh God, I know we're bouncing all over, but you mentioned McVay and Shanahan, but it's like the Rams beat Shanahan today in the 49ers, and oh my God, that game. I mean, it was so the Rams won 27-24 on like a walk-off field goal. It was 24. I mean, the Rams were down 10 points with 2 minutes and change left. Like the Niners missed a field goal to go up, back up 13, I think, and then the Rams came down and scored twice in under 2 minutes. I'm not going to lie.
He's throwing
Kyle
a Tutu
Shanahan
Atwell and Tyler Johnson down the sideline, Colby Parkinson.
Kyle Shanahan looked shell-shocked.
Whittington? Some guy named Whittington?
They did it, yeah. DeMarcus Robinson, yeah, they did a flea flicker. But the photo of Kyle Shanahan talking to Sean McVay, where, for all the stuff last week of like, oh, CJ Stroud, like, big brother and Caleb Williams. It was like Sean McVay, big brother Kyle Shanahan. Sean McVay was like, I'm so sorry I beat you, dude. That must have sucked. And like got out of there at midfield.
Sean McVay, 0-2 with Cooper Kupp and or Puka Nacua, 1-0 without them. Makes you think.
Yeah, there you go. I think good players are the problem.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
These coaches are too good for their good players. They need bad players so that they can do whatever they want. They have to give the ball to their good players when they're on the field. When they don't have any good players, then they can really scheme
like
it
us
up.
fantasy guys just constantly bitching about who they're throwing the ball to. Yeah.
Yeah. My winner of the day, if I want to stick with the coaches, my winner of the day is Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, who are one of 5 undefeated teams in the league. They beat the shit out of the Texans, 34-7. This game was never close. Immediately you knew the Vikings are going to win. The offense looked great, but defensively, dude, Stroud looked terrible. Statistically, this is pretty much the second worst game of his career. He had 2 picks today. They were a mess. They had 11 penalties. The Texans in general have had tons of penalties this year. They look very undisciplined. He was pressured a lot. Flores is to me, the way you feel about LaFleur on offense, DK, we should feel about Flores.
Yeah.
LaFlores defensively.
LaFlores.
LaFlores. Because,
that's good.
I mean, they're obviously 3-0. They beat the Giants. They stymied the Niners last week at home. And now they gave CJ Stroud the second worst game of his career.
Yeah, at one point, the Houston had 7 total points in this game, 14 rushes for 38 yards.
Yep.
Stroud, 68 pass rating, 2 picks. There was a point in the game on a key third down. Well, I guess it wasn't key because they're getting blown out, but it was key for the Texans to not get embarrassed. They had 4 straight pre-snap penalties. I think it was literally 3 false starts, and then
Laramie it was Laramie Tunsil and then Juice Scruggs, and
it was like the ugliest sequence I've ever seen in my life.
Is that a record? 4 straight pre-snap.
I think you do know mine. I think the old record, DK. Do you remember the Giants played the Seahawks in like 2005, and the Giants
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, well, the Giants had.
How do you remind me of that, Heifetz? You were 10.
Because the Giants set like the modern record for flags, but I think the Giants had like 4 false starts in like 2 plays.
God, it was
from the crowd noise, but it reminded me of that in that it was. I couldn't decide if the Texans were just like really rattled or the refs were trying to take over the game. Frankly, maybe a little por qué no los dos. But yeah, it was. I mean, a lot of people have picked the Texans to go to the Super Bowl, and the Texans looked like an FCS team playing at Georgia. Like it was like quite literally like it's an unprofessional operation of 4. There were pre-snap flags too, but I saw this from ESPN too, which blew my mind. To your point about Flores, Craig, the Vikings defense is, I said that like Chris Collinsworth, pass rush.
Defense.
This is from ESPN. The Vikings defense is the 3rd unit in the NFL's modern era to record 5 sacks and at least 1 pick in each of the first 3 games of the season.
Damn.
That's pretty crazy.
They played the Niners and then CJ Stroud.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's not like some of these teams where they're like, oh, they did all this. And it's like, all right, like the Saints. I mean, the Saints, well, they played terribly today, but it's like the Saints racked that up against like the Panthers in week 1. And it's like, they were playing good teams. So it's really impressive. And again, to button this all up with LaFlores, Vikings play the Packers this week.
Ooh,
so we're going to get Flores.
Wow.
LaFleur.
This is going great.
Brian Flores, he might be an asshole, but man, that guy's a good defensive coach. Might be mean to his players, but man.
Yeah, that was reference to Tua just calling him bad
maybe
person.
He was right. Maybe Flores was right. I don't know.
Well, this coach is dangerous and inconvenient, but I sure do love Brian Flores.
Look, sometimes tough love is what you need.
Vikings are at the Packers next week, and the spread is Packers giving 2.5 points.
It's giving 2.5.
Packers. It's just like Packers are home. Basically, it's even almost.
I was
Do you
trying,
guys-
to, I was
do you guys
trying to
ever-
speak in Gen Z terms. I was like, the game is they're giving 2.5. Do you know?
Yeah, I got that.
Nobody gets that.
I
Heifetz,
missed.
do you not know what that is?
No, I have no idea.
You don't know
what's
it.
going
Like
on.
you've never heard somebody say it's giving.
I asked Kai what that meant the other day.
It's giving like
If somebody said
oh,
like it's giving 90s, you wouldn't know. You don't know what that means.
Oh yeah. I guess I've seen that on the internet, but I don't think I've ever heard someone say it out loud.
Oh, interesting. I feel like I only hear people say it more than I do read it.
I text Kai a lot.
This
of
is
the,
giving awkward.
the Zoomer slang, and he explains it to me.
Yeah.
What else?
He's
What
your-
are some of the Zoom? What
He's
are
your
some of the Zoom,
go-to. He's your Urban
It's my
Dictionary
Zoomer,
for
Zoomer
Gen Z.
translator.
What have you asked him about,
Zoomer translator is a fucking amazing idea.
dude? It's all the you've seen the teachers who have
Uh.
like all the banned words on their whiteboards in school. It's like Ohio, mewing.
What is
You know?
Ohio again? I
Skibbity.
didn't.
I don't skibbity. I don't know what Ohio is. Ohio's the one I can't remember.
It's like a derogatory phrase when they say like go to Ohio.
Oh, okay. It's like the "Let's Go Brandon" of nouns or whatever.
I don't know.
By that note, what is skibbity?
Greg
mean?
looks uncomfortable.
I don't know.
know.
It's not like that.
Oh, it's God. It's not like really bad, right? I mean, that's a state.
No, it's fine.
What is skibbity mean? I just know it's a toilet, but I don't know what it is beyond the toilet.
There's like a whole. Have you seen the whole like digital series about the skibbity toilet thing? There's like a whole web series that's like dozens and dozens of episodes. I've watched a lot of it. It's actually pretty good.
What?
A whole web series about the skibbity thing. It's
Yeah,
just like
it
Mad
is.
Mad Libs for this generation.
There's
Dude.
like they're minute long episodes. There's like probably 60 at this point. This guy makes them, and it's awesome. It's kind of like about this dystopian world of like toilets versus modern technology. It's actually good.
Oh, okay. Dude, this guy Tim Urban is a really, really smart guy. He was talking about how language changes a lot, and basically he's like, if you just like 100 years ago, if you go back and you just tell someone, yeah, man, like just click on the thumbnail for the skibbity toilet. And his point was
It's a
like
web
over the course,
series.
it only takes 1,000 years for language to be a completely different language because of shit like that. And it's happening faster than ever. Anyway, what the fuck are we talking about? Other winners of the week. The hot young coaches won. Losers, DK, who lost week one?
Well, everyone who said that Bryce Young never stood a chance in this Panthers offense and that they set him up to fail. Andy Dalton looked like the next coming of like Tom Brady in this game.
Joe
It was like
Montana.
incredible. The Panthers beat the Raiders 36-22. Andy Dalton, I want to say he had 3 touchdowns in the first half. He came out hot and immediately
Came out of Ohio.
Yeah, totally skibbity. He
He came out just skibbity.
he was giving I don't know.
He was giving Tom Brady.
Yeah. No, I think it's like it immediately just like slammed the door on the idea that like Bryce Young was set up to fail or that he just, needed some this, that, or the other to succeed. Like this is the Joe Flacco thing that Joe Flacco came in last year for Deshaun Watson and like the offense was absolutely transformed. And Andy Dalton did the exact same thing here. Like this has to give Panthers fans absolutely no hope that Bryce Young will ever be anything in this offense. So anyway, but he was awesome and unlocked, obviously, the Panthers offense. Deontay Johnson looked great in this game. Dalton he threw for more yards than Young has ever thrown in a game. Bryce Young only has one 300-yard game in his career. Bryce Young has 10 out of his 18 games. He had 0 touchdowns. Andy Dalton came in and had 3. That would have been that matched Bryce Young's career high, which is just one time.
And Andy Dalton was the first quarterback to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game this season.
Yeah, Andy Dalton. God, ridiculous.
Do you think this was the worst day of Bryce Young's career? Like worse than any game he played?
Yes.
I think this might be worse. This is like when you go on leave, you have a kid or something happened, you leave work for 4 months and you're like, they're going to be a mess without me. And you come back and you realize that you weren't really that needed at all.
It's actually,
forgot
it's actually
about-
way
Company's
better.
actually
Forgot you were
working better
gone.
than you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually better
Don't come
without
back.
you. And you realize, wow, I'm making a lot of money and they don't need me anymore. This might have been the worst. This might have been the worst game of Bryce Young's career.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Also, maybe Andy Dalton should just be a starting quarterback. 2 years ago on the Saints, he was actually pretty good. I think he was like top 5 in PFF rating that year. Last year, he played one game on the Panthers, and it was the most passing yards a Panthers quarterback has had in the last 65 games. Then he plays one game this year. He throws for 360. Maybe we just gave up on Dalton too early, and he should be a quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because teams are so obsessed with like finding the rookie rookie contract quarterback who can unlock your Super Bowl potential or whatever, instead of finding guys like, I think, is he that different skill set wise than like a Baker Mayfield?
Or like a Derek Carr?
Yeah, Derek Carr is another great one. Like if a team decided to, I think Dalton's he's getting too old for this to happen, obviously, but if a team was like committed to him, like the Buccaneers are committed to Mayfield, or the Saints are with Derek Carr, like I think he could have a pretty good year.
I know, like the Falcons gave Kirk Cousins $100 million guaranteed. Is he that much better than Andy Dalton right now, coming off an Achilles?
Right. I mean, Dalton will probably have an awful game next week, but
talking about Kirk Cousins. I'm saying the Falcons gave Kirk Cousins $100 million guaranteed.
Well, I mean,
is Andy Dalton that much worse than Achilles?
Dude, that's the fucking point. Like, no one knows fucking anything, because it's like Sam Darnold was signed for $10 million this offseason. Andy Dalton signed last year for $5 million a year for 2 years. And then you know what I mean? It's like Malik Willis was a 7th round pick, who again nobody even wanted.
I still don't think Malik Willis is good for the record.
He's not good. That's the point. It's having and that's where, look, I'm not a billionaire for a lot of reasons, but also if I even had $1 billion, I think that a lot of these billionaire coaches are like, won't think this way. But the biggest loophole in competitiveness, I always think, has been coaching and like paying coaches money. And I think it's so funny that it's not salary capped, but then you have days like today, and my takeaway is, holy fuck, some of these coaches are so much more valuable than the other coaches. It's crazy to think how similar they're, like, you know, it's insane to think that Belichick was even was only making double what some of these other coaches were making. You know what I mean? And so you look at today, we're like, Matt LaFleur, what is Matt LaFleur really worth? If you can take Malik Willis, who's making, what's Malik Willis making? Like $900,000 a year. And he outplayed people making $40 million a year. And you're like, what is the value of that? Fucking a lot. And so, yeah, they would probably save a shitload of money on all these contracts and all these quarterbacks if you just got coaches who could actually coach.
Back to the Panthers. Guess who the Panthers play next week? Revenge game, baby. The Bengals.
Does Dalton want to get revenge against Cincinnati? I feel like he had a nice career there.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like Malik Willis.
Just like his former team.
Maybe positivity's back, because Malik Willis literally was like, it's not a revenge game. They took a huge chance on me, and I really appreciate everything they did for me over in Tennessee. And then he kicked their fucking ass.
Yeah. It's not back in Minnesota, though. Flores is just berating people over there, and it's working.
Yeah. Two different styles.
Two different styles. Yeah.
All right, next up, the I Am Become Death Oppenheimer Award for the player who went nuclear. Craig, only one guy who has become
my
death.
Goodness. Jauan Jennings went absolutely sicko mode for the Niners today. Imagine having Brandon Ayuk on your fantasy team. Being like, Debo's out, Kittle's out. Like, this is it. Ayuk's finally warm. He held out all summer. 11 catches, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns for Jauan Jennings. Was literally unstoppable the entire game. Had like 5 contested catches. Went up and like mossed somebody in the 4th quarter. He had 41 fantasy points, the biggest game of the season for any wide receiver. Second best fantasy day of the season for any player, only behind Alvin Kamara.
Dude, it's like the 5th best guy in the fantasy performance in the history of the 49ers. Like, this would have been the 5th best day of Jerry Rice's career.
God. Wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had 175 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Fuck, dude, you know Jauan Jennings is second in receiving yards this season, period?
This is, I love these small sample, like, early season stats like that. It's hilarious.
Alec Pierce is like top 5. Yeah.
Man, Jauan Jennings, he's amazing. He remains the best 6th man in the NBA, in my opinion. He's just like he's so good at just coming off the bench whenever they need him. Like Robert Horry coming in, need you to nail 3 to win the game.
Yeah.
Like
the Jamal Crawford Award.
I know he's not in the NBA, by the way, but yeah, dude, he's really good. I like him a lot. I did not see this coming at all. You guys were like talking to me earlier this week about like, is Jauan Jennings like the pickup of the week? And I was like, I mean, I don't know. Like, he'll probably be a part of the offense, but yeah, he obviously was. So 40 something points, 49 points, I think I saw.
41 in half PPR.
Yeah. Not shabby.
Not bad. Not bad. I was debating him or Quentin Johnston. I chose Jauan. 3rd and Jauan. That's
glad I called that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get him a new nickname now that he has like 275 yards in the season. So come up with a new nickname. I kind of want to Photoshop Jauan Jennings into the Oppenheimer photo of just Oppenheimer and Einstein by the pond.
Who would Einstein be then?
No, I want him to be in the conversation. with Oppenheimer. You know, like people Photoshop Ken from Barbie in for the conversation.
I don't know those memes.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Really?
Get Kai
You guys
in
know
here.
the fucking Kai. God damn it! No, you guys know the whatever the giving. But it's not. But you don't know this one.
Mm-mm.
You know what? All right, I'm just gonna go fucking walk into the sea. It's
I don't
fine.
know. That sounds like
It's
one
all right.
specific meme. Giving
All right.
is like a whole broad category.
I'm giving, but I'm not getting anything. Okay, fine. We'll fucking
Nice.
move on. Anyway,
Nice.
my Oppenheimer is Malik Neighbors,
Yeah.
who is the only thing giving me joy is Malik Neighbors and Saquon. Saquon, the only, like, I don't think I could handle Saquon's season if it weren't for Neighbors. So, I mean, Saquon had 17 carries, 142 yards and 2 touchdowns, 9 yards a carry. And Saquon kind of put the Eagles back in this game because he had that 65-yard touchdown run. And then he got them a 2-point conversion later. And the only reason I can handle this like a mature adult is because Malik Neighbors is the best receiver the Giants have had since Odell Beckham.
I think he looks better than Odell. I don't know if that's recency bias, but when I watch him, I'm like, this is the best receiver I've ever seen on the Giants.
I think it's probably recency bias, but like statistically, I think he is actually better than Odell was through 3 games. Heifetz, I saw somebody tweet this, and I'm just delighted to bring it up on the show now because I think I like to bring up existential like dilemmas for you when it comes to the Giants. If Malik Neighbors being this awesome means that it saves Daniel Jones's job in the long term, how does that make you feel?
He can't keep getting away with this.
No,
So
it won't.
This
It
can't
won't.
keep happening.
It won't. They know. If anything,
They do.
if anything, Malik Neighbors, what I love about him is that he is more likely to get Daniel Jones fired than the guy. You know,
Okay.
it's like
Like he's going to
Neighbors-
complain to
yeah.
ownership about it. Yeah.
No, dude, Malik Neighbors is unbelievable. To tell you the truth, I hadn't really steeled my heart for the potential of Daniel Jones being in my life in 2025. So,
How
like,
good do you
that's-
think the Giants would have to be for them to re-sign Daniel Jones? Do you think if they made the NFC Championship, they'd re-sign him?
Yes,
Wait, is he a free agent?
they're going to cut him.
Just keep him is what you
I
mean.
guess
Yeah,
keep him, not re-sign. But
Yeah.
You think they keep him if they make the NFC Championship? What about they're a wild card team and they
No.
win round 1?
Been there, done that. Nope.
Okay. So we need an NFC Championship.
Yes, I genuinely think that. I mean, Malik Neighbors is 1 catch off the lead in the NFL right now. He's 1 catch behind Rashee Rice for leading the league in catches.
He's got to be
And
up there
then-
in targets too, right?
He's the wide receiver 1 in fantasy right now.
Yeah, he literally
Is he
leads the
really?
NFL in
Yeah.
targets. He's
Guess
the
who's number 2? Jauan Jennings.
Fuck yeah. That's so awesome.
He's 5th in yards.
It's really silly.
Oh, sorry,
Um,
Jauan Jennings is 3rd in yards. Rashee Rice passed him.
So
Regardless.
I saw a couple stats that got thrown around today. Neighbors is the first player in NFL history with 20 receptions and 3 receiving touchdowns in their first 3 games, according to ESPN stats and info. And then here's the receivers in NFL history that have recorded 35 plus targets and 250 plus receiving yards in their first 3 games. Anquan Bolden, Puka Nacua, and Malik Neighbors. Like he is a rare.
he's better than those 2 people.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right
And-
now.
So by the way, he had 8 catches, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. The thing I love about him is that he's not just like super fast or explosive or whatever. He's doing some of the nuanced stuff that you love to see. Like he's separating as a route runner. He's doing the toe tap thing at the sideline. Like his first touchdown, I believe, was like an incredible extension, 2 toe tap in the back corner of the end zone. Like this guy's just freaking him. He's so good.
Yeah, he did like a pirouette. That was my play of the day. Was his like he literally did like a beautiful ballerina pirouette, came down, toe tap, touchdown.
Incredible. And he's like 20.
You got to
Yeah.
get a good quarterback. Heifetz.
Only
You
good
got
thing in
to.
my life.
We can't waste Malik. Although I guess
Can't-
Daniel Jones is doing one thing right, and he's just constantly peppering Malik Neighbors.
That's
He
the
doesn't get
reason
any
enough to
credit for
keep
that.
him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fucking genius Daniel Jones must be. Next up, it's so over. We're so back. Craig,
I think my it's so over is Justin Tucker.
Yeah,
It's
what's
over.
going on with this?
And I think today playing the Cowboys, this was the official passing of the torch to Brandon Aubrey.
Hmm.
Tucker missed a 46-yarder today. And then right after that, Aubrey hit a 65-yarder, second longest field goal in history. And then he hit another 51-yarder later in the game.
when Tucker hit his 66-yarder, he doinked it off the middle crossbar and bounced it in, and Aubrey hit his 65-yarder with fucking ease.
Yeah.
Like that shit was good for. I think Aubrey's gonna hit a 70-yarder this season. You're 100% right that this was the passing of the torch.
Tucker's 5 for 8 on the year, 0 for 2 from 50 plus, Might be over.
I think it's so over.
Kicking is so weird to me. It's like, how did he just lose it all of a sudden? Is he's like a golfer? It's just like his swing's fucked up now.
Yeah, he's like Victor Hovland.
He's getting a little older. Who knows? You lose it a little bit.
Yeah, he's been the best kicker for like 10 years. No, this is correct.
Although kickers like Robbie Gould was like 41 and still nails. So I don't know. Justin Tucker's 34.
I think it's like a mental thing.
Yeah.
DK.
Yeah. We're so back. Justin Fields is giving me hope again, guys. I didn't want to do this. I had kind of like washed my hands of the whole thing. I'm like, he's just not a good quarterback. This is coming into the season. I'm like, he's just not a good quarterback. He holds on the ball too long. He just can't process quickly enough. He's just too slow. He just takes too long to do everything. And that's like basically been the book on him for the last couple of years. But man, he's 3-0 as the starter for the Steelers. Obviously, the defense has a huge amount to do with that. The Steelers defense does. And that's going to continue to be the case. And I don't think Justin Fields is like blowing anybody's minds or anything like that, but he has been pretty clean. Like the way he's been operating the offense, he looks very decisive. He looks like he knows where he's going to go with the football most of the time. He's not playing panicked. He's not taking too long. He threw over the middle of the field a bunch today, which is another like big step for him because early on in the year, it was just like everything was to the sideline. You have to be able to attack the middle of the field if you want to consistently be a good quarterback. 25 out of 32, 245 yards, a touchdown, a pick. The pick was tipped at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if it was necessarily his fault. And then he also had a 6-yard touchdown on a keeper early on in the game. So the Steelers are just going to win every single game 20-10, which is what they did today.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, I was watching the Steelers offense like through my hands, like you watch a scary movie. And now I've pulled them away. I don't know if that means I'm getting too comfortable and this will come back to bite me. But yeah, I think Fields has instilled a little bit of comfort in Steelers fans. I actually feel comfortable watching him, and I no longer fear for the Steelers' possession every time he drops back.
Yeah, exactly. I used to kind of like dread watching him play, because I want him to be good and like physically speaking, the traits are outstanding, but then he just wasn't a fast enough processor. It was just like really painful to watch, and he's been a lot better. I love that he like feeds George Pickens. He trusts George Pickens, and he's giving his best receiver a chance. His touchdown pass to Calvin Austin today was really impressive. He like threaded the needle over the middle of the field.
Those types of passes are interesting to me. So if people didn't see it, it was over the middle. It was like a slant route. It was one of those where he fitted in a tight window and there was like a linebacker crossing right past the route. And if he was a second late, it was an easy pick. And Anthony Richardson had one of those in week 1. I think it was to Alec Pierce, or no, it was Doolin. And I can't tell if those plays are just really lucky because those two quarterbacks literally didn't see that defender and rifled it in time and got lucky, or if they were like, I see this closing window, I'm good enough to fit it in there. You know what I mean? I actually kind of think it is the former, and they're just getting lucky because they have a cannon. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I totally agree. JJ McCarthy beat Ohio State by doing that with one of those where I'm like, well, if the guy just fucking turned around, but he didn't. But yeah, the whole thing. I mean, honestly, Arthur Smith.
History is written by the winners, Craig.
Arthur Smith getting Justin Fields to be a good quarterback is just the whole the onion thing of heartbreaking worst person makes a great point. And I'm like, yeah, well, we'll just never ever credit Arthur Smith for any of this or acknowledge he did any part of this. My it's so over. The Miami Dolphins season is over. The whole thing is over. They literally showed their ass today, as in Braxton Berrios got his pants pulled down, and that was basically the whole day. Carlos.
That was kind of graphic.
I want to bring producer Carlos in here because he is a tortured Dolphins fan, and Carlos, I felt really bad for you because you texted us today, and I quote, "Andy Dalton's Panthers scored more points today than the Dolphins have this season."
That shocked me.
How you doing, Carlos? You feeling okay? The Dolphins lost 24-3.
I'm surviving.
Dalton for Tua right now. Who says no?
I don't. That's with the injuries. I don't know actually, but I don't know. The whole thing is just super frustrating because this is their own making. Like they did this to themselves.
Why did they not go get a more accomplished backup with this specific situation?
Yeah, could have got Malik Willis, the legendary accomplishments of Malik Willis.
Yeah.
I think part of it was that like Tua was dealing with the contract stuff in the offseason. So like they didn't want to like bring in like some established like veteran to like, make any problems with like Tua and like the contract negotiation or whatever. But it's just like the whole plan in the offseason was we're going to have Mike White and Skylar Thompson compete. Like, that's just insane to me. Like, I feel like they were so, like, caught up in, like, the fact that he played 17 games last year, and they thought, this is fine. And then the offensive line is, like, a whole other issue because, Tua had that quote, and I think it was at the end of the offseason where he said, like, it doesn't matter. The offensive line doesn't matter because I get the ball out so quickly. And it's like,
right.
It was an incredibly douchey thing to say right after he like harped on the Brian Flores thing of like, it's really important for people to believe in you. And then like 2 days after he was like, I wish Brian Flores believed in me. He was like, who cares if I believe my offensive line?
Yeah, it was strange timing for sure. And like that's even if that's true, that's great. But like, if he goes out, like, not everyone is going to have the same like quick release. Like, it's not like this offensive line is non-functional for literally any other quarterback apart from like maybe Mahomes.
The Dolphins, again, they lost 24-3 today. The game, it never felt competitive. Skylar Thompson was awfully left with a chest injury. Tim Boyle came in. I assume they have Tim Boyle because of his experience throwing to the Miami Dolphins from his time as a New York Jet.
Hey-o.
And he looked better than Skylar Thompson did. I think
he did have a 6 sidearm over the middle to Jonnu. That was nuts.
He did. He looked way better. And so the Dolphins, least efficient offense in the NFL, they're 31st in points. And I think the thing to me that's most interesting about Miami right now is that all these guys from the Shanahan, McVay world, you look at Kevin O'Connell and what he's doing with Sam Darnold. You look at, again, Matt LaFleur going 2-0 with Malik Willis, and Malik Willis had been on the team for like 20 days when he made that first start. And then you look at Miami, where Skylar Thompson has been on Miami for a couple of years now. And it strikes me, as much as we consider all these guys gurus, the inability for Mike McDaniel to build a similar game plan again, the Packers are winning with Malik Willis. The Dolphins look, frankly, like one of the 2 or 3 worst offenses in the NFL with their backup quarterback. And I think that part of that's an indictment on how they've built this team. And I don't know what you think, DK and Carlos. I want to know what you think too. But I feel like you kind of have to take a little shine off Mike McDaniel to go out and watch this team. Like, they weren't even close to scoring when they didn't get a turnover.
Yeah, it's tough because part of me is like, this is the norm almost all the time. When you have a backup quarterback, they suck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this should be the expectation. But then when you're comparing it to like Matt LaFleur, yeah, I think it does take a little bit of shine off of it because of what Matt LaFleur has done in 2 games with Malik Willis. Now, if Malik Willis started for 16 games, like, would the stats look similarly? Probably not. Like, over a full season, he probably would be terrible. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hesitant to like bury McDaniel so like this quickly, just because of like most teams playing with their backup quarterback are going to suck. It's just how the NFL works. Like, having a good starter is hard. It's hard enough to be good when you have a normal starter. When you're trying to play with a backup, it just kind of ruins everything. So I don't know. It did. I was shocked though when Carlos told us they literally have the fewest points in the NFL, other than Jacksonville, who hasn't played. So they're averaging 11 points a game. That's pretty rough.
I just want to point out that week 3 last year was the week that they scored 70 points. So the Dolphins have less points this season through 3 games than they had in each half of that week 3 game last season.
What week do you think they hit 72 total points?
That's a great question. When does Tua come back? Tua comes back probably around the Cardinals game. Might take until then. I don't know.
Well, they get 3 points this week and 3 points next week, so we can figure that. They play the Titans next week. They'll good for at least 6 again in that one. Also, wait, if you're listening to this on Spotify, let's see if we can throw the picture of the ass up on Spotify for this conversation.
Is there any like like kid warnings that we need
Parental
to issue here.
advisory?
Yeah,
Parental advice. How about this? We'll give a pause. Maybe we'll
blur out the butt.
You want to blur out the butt?
No,
Yeah,
that's the
maybe,
whole point.
maybe.
Yeah, it's
You got to see
Yeah,
that.
show.
I don't know. It's just kind of like it's not just
You don't
like
think
a
we should
butt out in the background. It's like a full on butt.
Oh, it's
pretty-
like the ass. Yeah, I guess the
pretty-
ass will just be
Pretty
on people's
graphic.
phones.
But,
All
when
right,
it
yeah,
comes
we
to
can.
butt pictures.
All right, we don't have to put the
Just
butt on the
Google
phone.
it.
Yeah, people can Google it. Okay. All right. Thank you, Carlos. I'm sorry your team sucks, but I get it. Believe me. All right. Speaking of which, I do want to say also real quick, it's so over for the Browns.
Yep.
It's
never
insane.
been more over for the Browns.
The
of all
Browns,
teams.
the Giants literally handed the Browns 7 points to start this game. Like they handed them the spread. They fumbled the opening kickoff and the Browns scored 7 points on the first play of the game. And they got 25 yards and they didn't get another 25 yards for 30 more minutes of game time. Watson took 8 sacks. Watson has taken the most sacks by a Browns quarterback through 3 games ever. And then the Browns also lost 3 offensive linemen in this game.
I have to shout out our very own Austin Gale's tweet because this blew my mind. Today, he tweeted, the Cleveland Browns' offense success rate in week 1 to 3 is the lowest it's ever been in any season for the franchise since 2000. Deshaun Watson is leading an all-time franchise worst offense for the Cleveland Browns. This is the worst Browns offense since the year 2000. Think about all the quarterbacks that we've seen. Deshaun Kaiser, Brandon Weeden,
Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel. And this is the worst offense.
And it's
And
the
he has
irony
a
is,
fully
like,
guaranteed contract for $256 million.
Do you know who's spending the most cash on their roster this season?
Is it the Browns?
It's the Browns.
It'd be funny if he was like the Falcons.
No,
Next category.
The Browns, the Cleveland Browns. $337 million on their roster this season.
Jeez.
Worst offense they've had in 24 years. Honestly, you know what? Sometimes, I guess, you know what? People get what they deserve.
I know.
Sure.
It's like, couldn't happen to better people.
I just think it's so telling and funny that after what Joe Flacco did last year, they just let him walk.
Dude,
Because-
they were like, oh, this
Because
guy,
we can't have the team knows he's better than Deshaun Watson. Like, we can't have that.
It's-
That is just so brutal. It's unbelievable.
there is something funny about people that like they did have to do that, but
Yeah.
also the idea, like explaining it to a non-sports fan is like, yeah, this guy came out of retirement and on a really reasonable contract and like no time just came in and like led them to
Came
the
off his
playoffs.
couch.
His heroic performance.
Yeah.
And everyone loved him. And they're like, oh, what happened? Like, oh, they fired him because he would make the you would make Deshaun Watson the that guy really uncomfortable. They're like, couldn't you have kept him around for like nothing? I'm like, yeah, no, they could have, but it would have been awkward. And they can't
It
handle
would
the
have been
awkwardness.
awkward.
It would have been
It would've-
awkward.
Yeah.
The alpha males who love competitiveness, they couldn't have handled it. So, well,
It's tough.
all right.
It's
So
tough.
for the Browns,
Were you
All right.
rooting for your team to win today?
I felt very mixed emotions about it.
Yeah.
For whatever.
Okay.
They
That's fair.
win, they lose. They're not going anywhere. Alrighty, play of the day. I mean, it's the hook and ladder for the Lions, right?
That was amazing.
unbelievable.
That was incredible. Yeah. It was thrown to Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
Mhm.
And then out of the backfield, Jahmyr Gibbs just came flying around. Amon-Ra St. Brown pitched it to him. He scored a touchdown. So Amon-Ra St. Brown gets the catch.
Yeah.
And then Gibbs got a touchdown catch, but he doesn't actually get a catch.
Does he? But he gets the
It's a
yards.
receiving touchdown, but he didn't have a reception.
Did he get the yards though?
That's a good
Yeah.
question.
I believe
Are
you
they
get the
counted
yards.
as receiving yards?
I believe you get the yards. Yeah.
So he had 0 catches, 26 yards, and a touchdown.
A
on that
receiving
play.
touchdown, yeah.
Yes.
Receiving touchdown. You
And
know
I
what's
was-
funny about that is I think Jahmyr Gibbs should get the credit for the catch because by the letter of the law in the NFL, like the rule of what is a catch in the NFL now is you have to catch the ball and you have to make a football move. Amon-Ra St. Brown basically volleyball set this ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. Like he didn't even take one step. They should consider that basically a tipped pass off of Amon-Ra to Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's a catch for Jahmyr Gibbs. Because
you have Jahmyr Gibbs and you lose by like half a point?
No. I actually had Jared Goff, and I was freaking out because I thought it might be like a weird rushing touchdown, or they don't count it for Goff. But just watching that, I was like, that's not a catch by Amon-Ra. If somebody hit the ball out of his hands at the same time that he pitched it, they would have called it an incomplete pass.
I mean, it's a football move, though. It's a lateral. He did it on purpose.
A lateral's, but that you need a football move to secure the catch. You need to make a football move to secure the catch. If you're throwing the ball away from you,
the football move was
what that would be. You think that would be a fumble if Jahmyr Gibbs didn't catch it?
Yes.
See, that's crazy. He barely touches the ball,
but he did it on
even
purpose.
Make a move.
That's the football move. Was the intentional lateral.
A football move usually means like you have to take 2 steps. You have to like do something.
Usually people aren't lateraling footballs,
but he
like,
didn't.
That's why
it was less than 1 step. I don't think it aligns with the rest of the rules of the catch.
Oh,
you should watch it.
Anyway, Gibbs 0 targets, 0 receptions, 20 receiving yards, and a touchdown. I just think that's a fun little quirk.
It's like when Trey McBride recovered that fumble in the end zone last week, and it was a touchdown, and it was like, where is that? What does that count as?
Every time, so like the 49ers had the whole lateral play at the end of the game with no time. And every time those happen, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like one of my guys is going to like throw the ball 20 yards and get a fumble and then lose a bunch of yards. I don't know. Like, I'm always worried the stats are going to like totally fuck my guy in those last plays. So it's always fun.
The over-under for Mahomes' rushing yards tonight, I believe, was 30.5, and he had hit the over, but then his 3 straight kneels, he lost like 5 yards per kneel and actually hit the under.
Oh, brutal. The other cool play that I wanted to mention was late in that 49ers-Rams game. There was a minute 54 left. LA was trailing San Francisco 24-17. There was a second and goal from the 4-yard line. It was so cool. Stafford came to the line. He kind of like surveyed everything. He checked to a run play and ran it was like an inside handoff draw play to Kyren Williams. And like 1 step after Kyren Williams took the ball, Stafford just like started doing like the Steph Curry running down the court with his back to the hoop type of celebration. Cause he just knew, he's like, I just called the perfect audible, and he scored the touchdown. So I thought that was great. That was the touchdown to tie the game up.
We saw that last week with Kyler Murray did that. He had a pass to, I think it was Marvin Harrison in the end zone, and he did the turnaround.
Oh, yeah.
Marvin Harrison.
Nate Tice was tweeting about that, and Kyler, he like retweeted, or he responded to him and did the Curry thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that was cool.
Worst play of the day. We mentioned the ass photo. That's a really strong contender.
That's probably
the other. We won't put the ass photo up on your phones, but we will put up, if you go to Spotify app, the other. Not to pick on Will Levis, but there's another Will Levis photo has dropped, sir. A third Will Levis photo has dropped.
A third photo. Third photo
is this week's photo is just, dude, the amount of photos of fucking Will Levis through 3 weeks. But
recap it, because week 1 it was the
surrender cobra for the worst pick six since Carson Wentz walked the earth.
The second one was him diving and like lateraling backwards. He's like horizontal to the ground.
The week 1 was like a Renaissance painting in slow-mo. Right. The week 2 was like you hit you don't know how to play Madden or the video game, like, and you just like you hit the lateral button by accident. It was like he was diving forward and throwing the ball. It was insane.
Well, I don't know if this is like an advanced stat. This is analytics probably, but I think it's a good sign that your season isn't going great. Probably if 2 out of 3 weeks a picture of you has made it on Art, but make it sports. the Twitter account that is incredible. I think the Surrender Cobra and this latest one have both made
this one. Yeah, this one is just 90 on the Packers. I mean, frankly, his crotch is shoving the back of Will Levis's face into the ground.
Yeah,
and then the ball is just scooting out. And Art, but make it sports.
2 out of 3 weeks. Maybe 3 out of 3. I don't know. I'll have to go check the tape.
He's the new Wentz.
He also, I know that's not even a play, but he also had the dumbest interception of the day, which no offense to Will Levis, but Jair Alexander, highest paid cornerback in the NFL, was just sitting waiting for him to throw a ball to Hopkins. And he just threw the ball to Hopkins. Jair Alexander just caught it and like went untouched in the end zone. And yeah, fun stuff. All right. Real and spectacular.
Bo Nix kind of looks okay. Bo Nix looks all right. Of all the rookie quarterbacks, Bo Nix right now looks the most solid. Great. 25 for 36, 216 yards. They got the win today. They handedly beat the Bucs in
beat
Tampa.
The shit out of the Bucs.
Yeah. Bo Nix also 45 yards rushing and a touchdown. I got to say, Nix is fast, man. Like, he is athletic and quick. And
Yeah, he is fast.
Bo Nix. So first of all, this whole shout out also to Jaleel McLaughlin, who I think looks way better than Javonte Williams at running back. And he changed the whole game because it was 7-0. And then the Broncos had it at 4th and goal at the inches. And I just said the inches at the inch. I can't speak English. But anyway, he really like single-handedly juked out like 3 Bucs defenders to get a touchdown. And it really changed the game because once they were up 14-0, the Bucs offense could get anything going. But this was easily the best game. I mean, best game that Bo Nix has had doesn't even do it justice. Like, I think that he did everything right in the dink and dunk, and he didn't make any dumb plays, but he also had a level of aggression that frankly had been really lacking in the last couple, how many decades that he was in college? I don't know. But like, he really was targeting stuff downfield, and he didn't always hit it, but he was like targeting Cortland Sutton and everything in a way that I think that maybe he just was really offended by everyone just saying he couldn't understand Sean Payton's play calls in the huddle last week because he seemed like way more in command.
Yeah, he looked better in this game than he has in the first 2 games. I will say that. I wouldn't say I was trying to see if there was any stats that kind of back up what Craig was saying in terms of like him looking like the best rookie quarterback. They're all pretty bad in terms of all the rookie quarterbacks are pretty bad.
So my stat is he looked like the best rookie quarterback, which if you just watch the rookie quarterbacks, he does look like the best one.
I like that DK was like, I was trying to find a stat to back up what Craig said, and
I couldn't.
There's not.
Who is the best rookie quarterback according to the stats you looked up?
Well, right now it's probably Jaden Daniels, but he hasn't played his third game yet.
Zero is great.
But like from everything from,
free revenue,
passer rating, touchdowns to interceptions, success rate, EPA per dropback, like Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Jane Daniels. Who am I missing? There's one more.
Drake May hasn't played.
Drake May.
Wait, I think I just figured out the rookie mystery box thing.
They're all bad is the point.
It's the pre-revenue thing from Silicon Valley. We're like, you don't want to make any money. You don't want to make any revenue because what? Companies make money. No, once you make money, it's never enough. But if you haven't made any money yet, the amount of fantasy points you could have, it could be anything.
I think if I needed a rookie quarterback to drive down the field right now, I'd pick Bo Nix.
I'd still go with Caleb, but
dude,
your point is taken. He did have a much better game than his first 2 weeks.
The Broncos, not the Broncos, the Bears offense. The Bears Colts game was like a fucking abomination for a bunch of reasons. But like the photo,
abomination.
It was, but the photo of the Bears offense on that 4th and goal where they did the speed option and Caleb pitched it, and all 5 Bears offensive linemen have ended up on the ground as like 4 Colts defensive linemen are just tackling the 2 of them. It's like sad.
Yeah, it was tough. I would say Caleb Williams did make some pretty nice throws like late in the game, but overall pretty rough again.
Dude, he had more yards. He had more passing yards in this game than Justin Fields has in any game as an entire. He
threw it 55 times.
I know, but I don't know. I guess
but he did. He made a couple of really nice throws. I will say that.
I don't know. People are being really hard on Caleb. I'm like, when I watch the Bears, I'm not thinking like, wow, Caleb's the fucking problem in his third career start. I'm like, this team cannot fucking block.
Totally.
They can't run the ball at all.
Yeah.
No, DeAndre Swift had like 15 carries for like 16 yards today.
And you can see it in Caleb that he knows that his offensive line is terrible and that he's frantic back there because he knows he's not going to have any time. With that said, he misses a lot of deep balls by like a lot.
Yeah, he misses throws.
Belichick laughing about the accuracy wasn't great. I didn't love that. I don't like any. If you make Belichick smile, something's gone wrong.
Oh, what are we gonna? We're talking about completion percentage now. Come on.
What the? You got your stats with Bo Nix. So
yes, I didn't cite completion percentage.
I hate that.
Completion percentage is not accuracy though.
You did. No, I told you. Heifetz kind of interrupted, but I said like everything you look at from, I said EPA per dropback, success rate, some of these more advanced stats, they're very bad. Very, very bad for pretty much all the rookie quarterbacks.
What about dubs?
Well, I think Caleb Williams has 1. Bo Nix has 1.
Caleb doesn't have 1.
He does.
Caleb did not win that.
He does, in fact, have a.
What, he had 90 yards that game? He did not win.
What, finished dead last? Yeah, he had a great day, though.
All right,
we done?
Now we
can move on.
Well, I'm giving Caleb Williams. Instead of Caleb Williams, I'm giving the Bears to Shane Waldron. Or I'm giving Shane Waldron the Arthur Smith Award for the coach that pissed me off. Sorry, there's too many names. I'm losing my fucking mind.
It's late for you. What time is it?
I think Bears fans are already turning on Shane Waldron. It's been 3 games.
He's
as they should.
awful.
They should.
It's not going great. A speed option on 4th down and goal from like the 1 yard line.
Why do people go fucking galaxy brain on 4th and inches? Run power.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
QB sneak with Caleb Williams.
Only other person that I wanted to shout out for the potential of Arthur Smith Award for coach that pissed you off was Craig. I know this bothered you when the Texans took out CJ Stroud because the game was at 27 points out of hand, and they left in Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell.
I don't know if this is the Shanahan tree thing because it's the Texans, but I don't know what these coaches are doing. Play all the bad players when you're losing by a lot. I don't get it. Why is Nico Collins, one of the best receivers in the league, in the game, getting targets from Davis Mills in the 4th quarter down 27? Why? Give me one reason. Let's get D'Amico on the phone.
I'm trying to look and see if I can actually find like they had Mechie was inactive.
I don't care.
Robert Woods was active.
Matter.
Why wasn't Robert Woods?
Matter.
Xavier Hutchinson was active. He should have been in there.
I don't care. Yeah.
No, I'm just checking. I'm just checking to see if there's an obvious, like maybe they only played like 4 receivers, but they didn't. They did not.
But he like run the ball every time or something.
That's fair.
It doesn't matter. The game's over.
Chris,
what are we doing? I just don't understand. You're admitting defeat if you put Davis Mills in, so you can just pull all your good. Pull the rest of them.
I agree. All right, DK.
I agree.
We have to get to an important segment here. Fart or Shart?
Yeah.
DK. The New Orleans Saints today, after coming in as the highest scoring team in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints left quite the bad smell. They lost to the Eagles 15-12.
Good one.
Do you think that this was a fart from the Saints today or a Shart?
I think it was a fart. I'm not too worried quite yet. I think for whatever reason, they just couldn't get anything going. They couldn't run the football at all. Carr was pressured a ton in this game. I just wanted an excuse to do like the Obi-Wan Kenobi. You were supposed to be the chosen ones for the Saints. They were supposed to be the team that saves offense this year. No one fucking can run an offense this year at all, except for the Saints and the Texans, by the way, who also suck today. So it was just a bummer to see yet another team bite the dust. Now they suck at offense. But I do think they will be better. I don't think this is like going to be a trend. I think it was more realistically just this is a regression back towards the mean, and then they went way over as like the pendulum swung all the way back, and then they'll probably somewhere end up in the middle next week.
The Eagles went 6 down linemen, and it just really fucked them up.
Did you see that C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the cornerback on the Eagles, had a quote about the Saints, and he said that they're not contenders, they're pretenders. They have Derek Carr. Remember that? That's a bar.
Yeah, I really like that.
The quotes have been really good.
It's a good reminder.
Corners are talking a lot of shit the first 3 weeks.
Cornerbacks are back. Yeah, corners are back.
Corners are back.
Corners are back.
Who's the Bengals corner made another? He did another like.
Okay, yeah, Taylor Britt on the Bengals.
Yeah.
Who was he?
Oh yeah, he just nailed it. He said, he's just said, Washington, Jaden Daniels, rookie, fast, doesn't
rookie. Yeah, they're running a college offense. Yeah,
they don't ask him to do a lot. Don't throw a lot of screens. Cliff runs the offense, and I was like, yeah, that's not even talking shit. That's just like super accurate.
Should we give Cam Taylor Britt a podcast?
Dude, I would.
Do you think he's getting in trouble for this stuff, or do you think they are just like, whatever, talk your shit?
I don't think they're telling him not to. I feel like you got to just let your guys be who they are.
I mean, if he literally did,
especially corners,
he literally did the one-handed interception over Xavier Worthy
after giving up a touchdown.
Yeah, but I mean,
just saying, just point it out.
Okay, Heifetz, fart or Shart? The Ravens tight ends, Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. I can give you some statistics if you'd like.
I think the Ravens. So, I mean, Mark Andrews had 0 yards, 0 catches. I think this is a fart, but like you got to go to the stall and like check.
Okay.
Like you have to like it's like almost positive it's a fart.
But so this is now 3 weeks of you having to get up and leave class to check your underwear because you think you might have sharted, but it's been a fart. 3 straight weeks of it for Mark Andrews.
I think it's 3 straight weeks of a fart.
Okay.
But like if there's a fourth, you gotta go to a doctor.
Okay.
Andrews, this is weird. He played 33% of the team's snaps today.
He ran a route on 35% of dropbacks. I think Lamar only threw the ball 15 times, so it's. I
think how we'll remember this situation is that Mark Andrews was in a car accident 2 weeks before the season, and they came back and said he was. Thank God he's okay, not a scratch on him, and then he didn't practice for 2 weeks. And we're like, that's so weird, considering you said there wasn't a scratch on him, and then he's just not playing a lot. And I just cannot be convinced that these are like fucking unrelated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, that's probably right. But then isn't that a Shart?
Well, that's why I said you got to go check.
Okay.
I don't know. I think in all seriousness, I think that this Ravens game, I don't want to put too much stock in it because it was 28-6. They were kicking the living shit out of them. And they just were running it with Derrick Henry the entire second half. And then Dallas came back. And I think it was just a weird thing. But yeah, I still think Mark Andrews is a buy low. Because anyone who has Mark Andrews is freaking the fuck out.
If you're a buy low, it's a fart. You can't be a buy. If it's a Shart, they're not a buy low. So, okay, we'll stick to fart.
I'm terrified. I'm very terrified for Mark Andrews. I don't know if I could start him in another league.
That's why you trade for him. Because people are like, I can't start this guy. Get a fucking 0. It'll be fine. Again, the wise man boweth his head and said, there's no difference between good and bad things, you fucking idiot. Like, it's fine. Mark Andrews will be okay.
You fucking
that
imbecile.
feels hard in a game like fantasy football where there are statistical numbers that determine your outcome.
Well, shut up.
Craig, losing and winning, they're the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's
there's no difference.
Shanahan has 3
imbecile.
rings. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's kind of true. It's not his fucking fault that Jimmy overthrew Emmanuel Sanders. Like, Kyle did his job.
Craig, by the way, Craig calling likely being like a nothing going forward. That was gonna like great call.
You just knew it. You knew that was gonna
awful.
Happen. He has 5 points since that big week 1.
God.
Worst referee moment. We mentioned the Texans got 4 straight penalties, and I don't know. I feel like that was the refs kind of being weird.
No, dude, the worst one was the Lions game. It was the Jared Goff snapped the ball at 2 minutes and 1 second left before the 2-minute warning. He throws a pick 6. They call the play dead because they say he snapped it after the clock struck 2 minutes. That was
insane.
They go back and watch. He snapped it with a half a second still remaining. The clock was still at 2:01 when the ball was snapped. And because the ref called the play dead, couldn't do anything about it. If I was Arizona,
the Lions, that was how we got the hook and ladder play, wasn't it? The Lions went down and scored a touchdown. Like the whole game kind of swung on that.
I think you're right. Yeah. I mean, it's an absolutely unforgivable, brutal call.
That's terrible.
It was really fucking bad. And you know what? That's kind
why
of
is such a hurry to call the 2-minute warning?
No, just let the play out.
It's just really exciting.
Call it dead.
Guys, I think that's the ref equivalent of like when one of your boys kind of gets in a shoving match at the bar, and you're like, "Fuck, I gotta." One guy just blew it dead. He's like, "Wait, everyone!" And everyone's like, "Shut the fuck up, Jim."
Jim.
But what are you gonna do? Like, he blew it dead. Like, you got to, you're a fucking unit. You got to be there for your boy. But like, yeah, the refs have that too. All right. SBF Fraud Watch presented by FTX. Thank you to our sponsor, FTX. Dude, Cowboys defense are totally on Fraud Watch.
I thought they were good.
Yeah.
I thought that was like kind of the part of their thing was that they were good at defense. They've given up the most rushing yards in the league, 30 points per game, 3rd worst defensive EPA per drive. Like they're awful.
They have no spine to the defense. They have no defensive tackles that are good. They have no linebackers that are good. And they don't really necessarily even have the safety play to stop the run. And also now Mike Zimmer has added to the team as defensive coordinator. The static equals death. They don't move and you have to move. And then also he's mean. And so I think all the players are going to revolt on them really soon because at least Dan Quinn wore his backwards hat and was like, hello, fellow kids, and let them do cool fucking shit. And I think the defense, you can only be this bad for so long and get yelled at.
He's mean is really funny.
It's mean is fine if you're good. You just better be fucking good.
It's true.
All right. The Lucille Bluth, I don't understand the stat line and I won't respond to it award.
I got a couple. Dallas Goedert, had 10 catches for 170 yards, both career highs. Last week, without A.J. Brown, he had 5 fantasy points. This week, same situation.
I talked Craig out of playing Goddard today. I feel pretty terrible about that. I'm sorry, Craig.
It's all right. I'm going to win, so it's okay. Otherwise, I would kill you in cold blood.
I was like, yeah, Goddard. He's been kind of an afterthought in the offense. 170 yards. God damn it.
I saw that happening in the group chat, and I literally typed out actually a pro Goddard argument, and then I deleted it because I was
cool.
like, whatever.
That's awesome.
So
good shit.
Really cool thing to say after the game.
Yeah.
I actually loved Goddard. That.
Yeah.
The last one, the stat I won't acknowledge is that the Raiders had 2 top 10 wide receivers in fantasy today. The Raiders, who lost to the Panthers, and neither of them were Devontae Adams or Brock Bowers. 2 top 10 guys. Trey Tucker, wide receiver 6. Jacoby Myers, wide receiver 9. We'll just ignore that.
Nope.
I just love that Jauan Jennings is the number 2 receiver in fantasy.
Dude, he's the best. I would die for that guy.
Okay.
Where do you rank him next week? I mean, Debo's
second.
Debo's going to be out again. Who knows if Kittle plays?
Okay. Next up, we have a daily double.
Ooh, yeah. Forgot about that. Explain what that is for people who don't
daily double. Yeah. So if you're listening to this, email us, comment on our Instagram, comment on TikTok on Sundays with these I said TikTok. Oh my God, I can't speak English. But like comment and with your nominate players for your categories, and we will read some of them on the show. And so this daily double is from Andrew.
Andy.
My intrusive thought is that Anthony Richardson might suck.
Hell yeah. That's Andrew. Welcome to the club, my friend. I agree. I'm only in 2 fantasy leagues, one of which I drafted this man, and he's terrible. He's actually really bad. If you guys weren't watching the Colts game, there were so many plays that were just absolute layup passes for Anthony Richardson that I think every other quarterback in the league would have completed. He is sailing balls over Michael Pittman's head on like a 3rd and 4. Brutal overthrows. A massive underthrow and a crucial deep ball to Adonai Mitchell in the 4th. He had
that was tough.
He had one of the dumbest fumbles I've seen that was actually blown dead, like right before they blew the whistle right before the fumble, but that would have been a terrible turnover. And I got to be honest, when I'm watching him, I love Anthony Richardson. I want him to be really good. I think just like athletically, he's just unlike anything I've ever seen. So it's so frustrating when I see him on the sideline and he's sitting. So we were talking about Joe Flacco with the Browns last year. Joe Flacco's on the Colts now. And I see Anthony Richardson after throwing an egregious interception.
Oh, no.
Sit down on the bench. And I see Flacco teaching him and holding the Microsoft Surface. And I'm like, maybe we put Flacco in the game. Like at a certain point, I wonder if that would ever happen. I know that they actually won the game and they ran the ball very well. But
oh, yeah, who won the game?
Yeah. The Colts.
Not because of fucking they
ran.
It was
the
leadership. It was the leadership, guys.
It's bad. It's really bad. The passing is really bad, and he's not even really running that much.
I know. That's the hard part.
Anthony Richardson is 22 years old. He is 2 years older than Bo Nix. Sorry, Anthony Richardson is 2 years younger than Bo Nix.
I mean, he's played like 20 games since high school.
That was going to be the thing I was going to bring up. It's like 19? You can tell this guy just does not have enough reps.
I will say, when we have these we talked to Chris Ryan about this last week, all these conversations about quarterbacks and should they have reps and how long should they sit, and basically the money ballification of like, because they're in rookie contracts, they play. I think Richardson's like the best example of this, of like, look, I understand that it's kind of like you can't read a book to learn how to swim. You got to be thrown in the water at some point, but holy shit. Yeah, Anthony Richardson having 17 games between college and now, and you watch him play, and he had what, 10 completed 10 of 20 passes. The 10 he missed were by a lot. Like,
well, there was one key 3rd down where he had a guy wide open to his left, and he just threw it over his head.
It was Pittman.
It was like 10 feet over his head.
It was like a guy shooting a half-court shot at an NBA game, like a fan.
Yeah. Again, I think you just mentioned this, but like the one where he rolled right and tried to throw it across his body across the field, ended up being dropped, was one of the dumbest decisions I've seen in like of the whole season. And he just needs to play more football. But yeah, he's the guy who can do stuff that other quarterbacks could never think of, but also he can't really do the things that every other quarterback can do yet. And it just would be nice if he had just taken the little, like, half of Jordan Love.
It's really tough.
Sojourn.
They're playing the Steelers next week.
Yeah, he's getting fucked. That's not going to go well.
Bet the Colts.
Right.
2 tight ends who outscored Kyle Pitts in a lie.
Kyle Pitts tight end 7 this week.
Oh.
With 6 points.
I hate the tight end position so much.
All right. Here are 2 tight ends who outscored Kyle Pitts in a lie. Nick Vannett.
Which team is he on?
Well, he
I'm
might
serious.
be the lie, so I can't tell you. Noah Fant and Johnny Munt.
Jesus.
No, Johnny Munt dropped the touchdown. So no. Not
No,
him.
but he caught one too, I thought.
I'll give you a hint. Johnny Munt does have a touchdown. Did score a touchdown.
That was his only cat.
I think Craig's doing that thing where everyone outscored him. But I'm going to say Noah Fant. I'll say Noah Fant.
Noah Fant did outscore him. Johnny Munt did not. Johnny Munt had 1 catch for 2 yards, and it was a touchdown.
Oh, okay.
Not enough for Kyle Pitts. Pitts got screwed. He got tackled at the 1 on that 60-yard bomb, and then probably should have gotten a PI in the end zone.
Right.
Tight end sucks, except Dallas Goedert.
So if you just look at all the tight ends that you drafted in the top 12.
By the way, Dallas Goedert is the tight end 1 right now.
Dude, well, here's the thing. George,
What a fucking joke.
if you play Dallas Goedert, awesome.
In total half PPR points.
So George Kittle and David Njoku and Evan Ingram didn't play this week. So if you have Sam Laporta, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, Mark Andrews, Dalton Schultz, Isaiah Likely, Travis Kelce, did not get 30 points combined.
How do you say the tight end's name on the Niners? Eric Saubert?
Saubert?
It's Saubert?
Who
cares?
Pronunciation
I
guy.
was looking at one of the top scorers of the day, and it was Eric Saubert at tight end.
Eric Saubert, how did Laporta and McBride? We should have like a dartboard or like a loosely trained farm animal pick a tight end each week by random chance and see if we can pick tight end.
Yeah, we should get a pig.
We should get
yeah.
Or Moodang. We should get the fucking hippo.
We should get Moodang.
We should get a fucking hippo to just pick a goddamn random fucking tight end, and we should just see if we can pick any. It's like those wins pools where there are win pools where you can only pick one team and it's hard, but the hardest win pools are you can pick any team you want any week, and then no one makes it to like week 6. It's like we can pick any tight end we want to outdo fucking Johnny Munt, and we won't make it 3 weeks.
Two Tennessee tight ends in the top 9. And neither of them are Chigakonkwo.
I think it's like the most demoralizing thing is like you can look at your teams and you're like, oh, I'm in really good shape here. I got, Trey McBride or whoever, and I'm feeling so good about my offense. And then he literally gets outscored by Kylan Granson, Eric Saubert, Brock Wright,
Josh Ryle.
Brock Wright outscored freaking Sam Laporta. Like you could put anybody in there. You don't have to invest anything in tight end. I'm sick of tight end. I feel like didn't over the offseason where like tight end is fixed. It's not fixed. It's never gonna be fixed.
It's actually worse than ever.
Yeah,
it is worse than ever.
We're back. Actually, we're back.
Yeah.
Tight ends are bad, which means we're back.
Fucking tight end.
Cole
Burn
Kmet,
book.
number 2 tight end on the day.
Jesus. All right, burn book. I don't think we should burn Mark Andrews, but I felt the need to say it.
I feel like
I kind of feel like we do.
You can't give him a fart and then burn him. You have to burn
I don't
Shart.
want to burn him. I just felt the need to represent the people and throw the name out. I think we need to give him another week.
See, I'm happy burning him, but then we'd have to change his designation from fart to Shart. For the record.
Should we burn him?
Craig is really hung up on that.
The people need to know.
I think there are better people that I believe less in a rebound.
I think Michael Pittman is in the running.
What did he do today?
5 points. This year he's gone 5 points, 3 points, 5 points. And I don't know. I don't really see an end in sight. There's a lot of receivers on this team that Anthony Richardson likes to overthrow. So
I got one.
Okay.
DeAndre Swift needs to go in the burn book.
Was he bad today?
Yeah, he was really bad. 13 rushes for 22 yards.
Ooh.
Against the Colts, who had given up an average of 230 yards a game coming into today. he does a few nice things in the passing game, I feel like, but it just does not make up for his complete ineptitude on the ground. I feel like I was watching a couple different plays. Vision. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, Heifetz. I was watching a couple plays in this game where it looked like he had like a really wide open spot and he just ran right to a defender to try and run them over instead of going to daylight. Yeah, he's just been really, really bad. And also from a fantasy point of view, they sub Khalil Herbert in when they get inside the 5-yard line. So DeAndre Swift is not going to get any touchdowns probably. And then Roschon Johnson has been better. He was better today as like a passing downs guy or like they were subbing him as a change of pace type of player. I don't know. I just think DeAndre Swift legitimately might be the third best running back on that team. And for whatever reason, they gave him a whole bunch of money. So maybe that means they have to play him. But he has not been good. And it's really, really frustrating to watch. And I don't ever want to be tempted to put him back in my starting lineup.
I'm good with Swift.
I'm down to burn him because I agree. I think Swift is going to get benched by his real life team.
DeAndre Swift is he scored in 3 games 16.4 points, which is almost exactly the same amount as Miles Sanders, who I don't actually remember one time seeing Miles Sanders. You know what I mean? Like
he punched in a score today.
I'm sure I have seen him, but like I never thought to myself, oh, there's Miles Sanders, you know? If you would have told me like Miles Sanders wasn't playing this year, I'd have been like, yeah, that's right. So anyway, that's how good DeAndre Swift has been.
All right,
DeAndre Swift, you're in the burn book.
You're in the book.
All right. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos Sakai, for producing this episode. Thank you for listening. Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Ringer Fantasy Football. And there you go. We got our waiver show on Monday. We got Power Hour Wednesdays live on YouTube. If you want to go to YouTube, we do those on Tuesday nights. So you want to check out the YouTube live, and then it also comes out as a pod on Wednesdays, and then we got our previews on Fridays. So yeah, thank you, everybody. Of course, thank you, Lord.
Lauren, SNL's back soon. 50th anniversary season this year. Big year for Lauren.
I have a great email on Lauren that I'll read you guys tomorrow.
Hold on, I didn't say a band yet. Thank you, Kiss.
Nice. Heifetz, you know Kiss. I know you know Kiss.
I know Kiss.
But I'm saying you know Kiss songs.
For some reason, Heifetz strikes me as the type of person who would have been really into Kiss when he was like in 5th grade.
Heifetz, do you know the song? I guess I'm going to fucking sing again.
Do it. Sorry, yeah.
I want to rock and roll all night.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's Kiss.
Yeah, I know that's Kiss.
Oh, you just said I don't know any Kiss songs. You said
you said to me earlier today about a specific song about New York.
And then you said I don't know any Kiss songs.
No, yeah, like I don't know, like those don't count. Those are it's like the Born to Run of Springsteen. I'm saying that like I couldn't tell you, like
I feel like it counts when you know their most famous songs. That's most people know famous songs because they're famous.
Okay, but if it's the flip side where it's like I know Kiss songs and you name the like 2 most popular ones, then people are like, well, you don't know Kiss songs. Those are just, I don't know. If I claimed it, then I feel like people would be like, those don't count.
I don't know.
I'm not bragging. I don't know Kiss. I'm saying I think I probably know like 3 of their songs.
You know, but you didn't know My New York Song?
Sing it. I have to.
Craig,
how does it go?
Okay,
what?
Yeah, I actually want to hear you sing. Go ahead.
We're back. Back in the New York groove. You don't know that song?
Keep going. Maybe if you keep going.
Well, honestly, they kind of just say that for the whole song.
Craig, honest take, gun to your head.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the whole like makeup thing? like dressing up like a cat or like the cat makeup and you know all that.
Wait, there's a cat makeup guy in Kiss?
Are you into it or not?
Am I
Wait, one of these guys just dressed like a cat?
I don't know. I feel like that was very of a time. It was like the hair metal, hair band thing.
Right.
There were a lot of bands, I think, back then who maybe weren't going as hard as these guys, but had looks similar to that. So perhaps in the 80s, I would have been into it. I don't know.
I'm not asking you. That's not my question.
Right now? No, it's not my cup of tea.
Okay.
I could do
what
without
was
it.
up with this?
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm just trying to like ask a really rational, like what was their deal?
Why did they do this? And also, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just knew about Gene Simmons. I didn't know one of these guys did a cat makeup.
Yeah. I don't know any other guy.
Why did he do that?
I don't know.
The Kiss super fans are so infuriated with us right now.
I wonder what the crossover is of Ringer Fantasy Football Show listeners and Kiss super
I'm so
fans.
dumb. I googled kiss cat and I just got a bunch of people kissing cats. I'm so stupid. Band guy.
Oh,
Like if Gene Simmons came up to you in the 1980s, Craig, and it was like, "Hey man, we're gonna start this band," and like
one
he
condition
goes through all the whole list. It sounds fucking kick ass. You're gonna tour around. You're gonna be one of the biggest bands of all time. You're gonna have some of the biggest hits of all time. And then at the end, he was like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, you're gonna have to wear dress up like kind of like cat makeup."
I think about that all the time of like, I kind of would love to have like a Tim Robinson style Shark Tank where we go back in time in a time machine and hear like the best business pitches of all time, but like we don't think they're good ideas.
Yeah.
Do you think Gene Simmons met up with the other Kiss members and was like, "Hey, I got this crazy tongue thing," and they were like, "Well, we should add to that." Like, do you think it started with tongue, that's the long tongue, and then they're like, "Let's paint our faces like cats in black and white"? Or
I think it started with like a Steve Belichick situation, like he couldn't control it, and they're like, "Yeah, you got to put the tongue back in the cage," and he's like, "I can't," and they're like, "All right, well, we're gonna have to make the tongue the whole
right."
thing.
That's got to be the identity. What do we do?
Yeah.
I also don't know if the tongue. I don't know anything. I don't know if that's real or fake. I think it's real. I don't know.
What's fake?
Because his tongue
really can do that. Yeah.
So he didn't like. That's not a prosthetic in any way. That he just has like an abnormally long tongue.
I've never thought about this.
Yeah, isn't it like he has like a 6-inch tongue or something? Or like
I've never considered that wasn't his real tongue.
Or like
that
he did something to allow it to extend that far, or is he just born that way?
You think he's just like clipping weights to that thing?
Well, you know how you can like cut the webbing under your tongue, and I think it helps extend it. Did he do that?
What?
You know the webbing.
This is going to make the Ringer Fantasy no context thing.
You know the webbing under your tongue?
Yeah, you cut it gets longer.
I think, dude. I don't know. What am I saying?
You
I have
cut
no idea.
that shit. Why would you do that?
Google is telling me that it is a real tongue.
Nice.
It's just that 7 inches long.
It's 7 inches.
Did I tell you that?
Jesus,
dude, that is crazy.
Holy shit!
What's up with that? Like, is that a condition? Why is it so long?
It's a long time. How long is your tongue?
Not even close to 7 inches.
Oh my god. Apparently there was a rumor that it was a cow's tongue.
What about
a rumor it was a cow's tongue?
But it's not a cow's tongue.
Dude, how could you fake having a tongue?
This trivia that this like fact thing I'm seeing is that his tongue is reputed to be 2 inches longer than most men. I'm like, that's about like 4 or 5 inches longer than most men. 2 inches? Come on. Have you seen 2 inches is like that much?
It's what's the difference really?
Can you guys
What's
touch
2 inches?
Can you guys touch your tongue to your nose?
Yeah, I can.
What?
Do it right now. Wow. I can't do that. I think I have a very short tongue.
So maybe that helps.
Yeah. My tongue is a grower.
Can you do the split thing?
No, I can't do that either.
Craig, when you eat spicy food, it gets longer.
Yeah. That's gonna be a sexual joke. We can get out of here.
Do it.
No.
I was gonna make a sexual joke.
Goodbye, everyone.